Kindness and fortune. In a small, bustling town filled with the scent of fresh bread and the sound of cheerful chatter, there lived a boy named Daniel. He was no older than 12, with bright hazel eyes that carried the weight of responsibilities far beyond his years. Ever since his father had passed away, Daniel had taken it upon himself to help his mother make ends meet. Each morning before dawn, he would head to the marketplace, selling small loaves of bread his mother baked. Daniel's days were long and tiring. He would wake up before the sun kissed the horizon, helping his mother knead the dough and shape the loaves. By the time the town came alive, he would be at his small stall, calling out to passers-by, hoping to sell enough to buy ingredients for the next day. Some days were good, and he returned home with a few extra coins. Other days, he barely sold anything, but he never let his mother see his disappointment. One cold evening, as Daniel counted the last of his coins, a shivering old man with weary eyes approached him. "Young lad, do you have anything to spare?" "I haven't eaten in 2 days," the man said, his voice barely above a whisper. Daniel looked at his coins. He had exactly enough to buy a loaf of bread for himself and his mother. His stomach ached with hunger, but as he gazed at the old man's frail form, he made a choice. With a gentle smile, he pressed the last penny into the man's wrinkled hands. "Here, sir, you need it more than I do." The old man's eyes shimmered with gratitude. He placed a trembling hand on Daniel's shoulder and said, "Kindness never goes unrewarded, my boy." That night, Daniel returned home empty-handed. His mother, though tired and hungry herself, simply pulled him into a warm embrace. "You have a heart of gold, my son," she whispered. The next morning, as Daniel set up his small stall, a well-dressed gentleman stopped by. "Are you the boy who helped an old man last night?" he asked. Daniel hesitated before nodding. The gentleman smiled. "That man was my father. He told me of your kindness, and I wish to repay you." He handed Daniel a small pouch filled with silver coins. "Use this wisely, and may fortune always find you." Tears filled Daniel's eyes. He rushed home to his mother, clutching the pouch. From that day forward, life took a turn for the better. He and his mother were able to expand their bakery, and their kindness continued to spread throughout the town. But Daniel's story did not end there. With the newfound wealth, his mother insisted on saving most of it, using only what was necessary. They bought better ingredients, making their bread even more delicious. Soon, word spread, and more people visited their little bakery. The small stall turned into a cozy shop, and Daniel no longer had to stand in the cold to sell bread. Yet, Daniel never forgot the lesson he had learned. He continued to help those in need. If a poor child came to the bakery with hungry eyes, he would slip a warm roll into their hands. If an old woman struggled to carry her groceries, he would rush to her aid. The town began to admire the young boy, not just for his success, but for his generosity. Years passed, and Daniel grew into a fine young man. His bakery became one of the most beloved places in town, known not just for its delicious bread, but for the warmth it brought to people's hearts. The gentleman who had once given him the pouch of silver became a close family friend, and through him, Daniel learned the art of business and trade. One day, a young boy, no older than Daniel had once been, stood at the bakery's door, shivering in the cold. Daniel saw himself in the boy's eyes, the same hunger, the same hope. Without hesitation, he welcomed the child inside, offering him food and warmth. And so, the kindness that had once saved Daniel continued to ripple through generations, proving that a single act of goodness could change countless lives. Vocabulary words from the story. Bustling meaning, full of energetic and noisy activity. Example, the marketplace was bustling with people buying fresh produce and handmade goods. Shimmered, meaning, to shine with a soft, wavering light. Example, the old man's eyes shimmered with gratitude as he accepted Daniel's kindness. Embrace, meaning, to hold someone closely in one's arms. Example, Daniel's mother pulled him into a warm embrace when he returned home. Trembling, meaning shaking or quivering, often from fear or weakness. Example: the old man placed a trembling hand on Daniel's shoulder. Generosity, meaning the quality of being kind and giving. Example: Daniel's generosity inspired others to help those in need. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.